if you are sitting at a desk, have the feet flat on the floor, otherwise legs crossed in the regular meditation posture. And if you've got tight hips and knees, you can put a couple of cushions underneath. Sits bones are slightly raised, right hand nestled in the left with the thumbs touching. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So you can just imagine someone is very gently lengthening your spine, maybe putting some space in between those vertebrae. Imagine the head is very slightly tipped forward, eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose, and the tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, and relax the jaw. And bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead and the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth. Relax the back of the head, base of the skull, and relax your ears and your inner ears, your temples, the jaw, the back of the tongue. Relax back of the neck and the shoulders. Allow the shoulders to drop down, the shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly, limbs, hands, fingers and feet and toes. And just bring the mind to the breath. Noticing the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. If there are any sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. Try not to follow them or investigate with your mind. Just allow the mind to come very gently back to the breath. And then just notice what thoughts are arising right now. And if they're going at 1,000,000 miles an hour, just allow them to slow down. Try and put some space in between the thoughts. Maybe as a way to cut off the habitual patterning. And just imagine you're like a scientific observer, just very, objectively looking at what's going on in the mind, what the stories are, whether they're true, whether you've exaggerated, what are your expectations of yourself and others. And just check it all out objectively. And so we put ourselves in this way, we put ourselves on the bank of the river and just watch that river flow on by. And while we're there on the bank, we're free from the river. So we can bring all the people of our life to mind right now. Just the people you love. These are ones you have very deep and profound relationships with, constant relationships, constructive. And then there's those people in your life who you find a little bit difficult. And then there's the strangers. It's always good to remember, I say this every day, that this friend, this enemy, and this stranger can change place at any time. And they're all equal in their wish to be happy, their wish to be free from suffering, and in having this extraordinary capacity for enlightenment. So tonight we're working on our own extraordinary capacity for enlightenment by getting in touch with our stillness, slowing down our mind, and doing this purification practice. So I think we're going to do this for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we're creating negativity with our mind. So equally, we can create positivity with our mind. And we're purifying using the 4 opponent powers, the first of which is the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason we are regretting is based on this logic of karma. So we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we will necessarily experience suffering in the future. When I read this, I always wonder, please don't use this as an opportunity to beat yourself up a little bit more if you had some suffering in your own life. It's just, this is what the teachings say. But sometimes I think we can overdo it a little bit and make it a little bit too personal. So just keep that in mind. It is the teaching, but also don't use it as don't use it as a weapon against yourself. And just keep that in mind. And so then we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So therefore, it makes sense that we pull out these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing the Buddha to somehow forgive us. We're not looking for this higher power to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So imagine Vajrasattva is above the crown of your head, and he's also you can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And the lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud, just like our enlightened potential, which is born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. And Vajrasattva has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of anybody that you may have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. Then remember those who have harmed you and just have compassion for them, because wherever they are now, the harm they've caused you is going to be a cause for their suffering in the future. and you never know when it's going to ripen for them. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine, doing the practice of purification. So we start with recitation and visualization. So we start with the body. So imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sending powerful white nectar, almost like coming out of a hose or a fountain or waterfall, very forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and into your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of all your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you have ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So next we come to the purification of speech. And just imagine that Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown quite forcefully, entering your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativities of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine that all the gossip and, harsh speech and idle chatter, useless speech, rabbiting on about nothing and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta me bawa savasiti mempi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajamame mutta vajabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa savasiti mempi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anurakta me bawa savasiti membi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anurakta me bawa savasiti membi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anurakta me bawa savasiti mempi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anurakta me bawa savasiti mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So next is the purification of your mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you switch on a light, the light instantly dispels the darkness. So just imagine the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness and anger and depression and resentment and bitterness and jealousy, all instantly dispelled as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anurakta me bawa savasiti mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anurakta me bawa savasiti mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anurakta me bawa savasiti mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anurakta me bawa savasiti mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anurakta me bawa savasiti mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, this is the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, cause of our suffering. Just imagine it's all totally gone, purified. And now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately again sends light and nectar. So you can do, if you wish, a couple of mantras each for those visualizations of body, speech, and mind we've just done, or just imagine light and nectar pouring into you, filling you completely and eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So now feel you're completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream, and even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So next is the power of resolve, and the fourth and just probably very crucial step in the process, because if we don't make a decision that we want to change, that we want to refrain from harming others, we're just going to keep doing it because we're human and we have habits. So the minute we start to try and nip those habits at the root, things will start to change. So slowly, humbly, start with something simple, maybe a timeline that's doable. Don't start with something that's too difficult or too creates too much emotional energy in you. Start with something simple. I think between now and tomorrow, I'm going to refrain from X, Y, or Z. Z, as you say here. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think my Guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. And LAMA YESHE used to call that union oneness. So let's just do a little bit about emptiness. And emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. So we can also think that perhaps all phenomena are empty. They do not exist from their own side. And maybe also we think that perhaps the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Rinpoche, O tup shu chang jin jam gan gyalaway, Tenzin kyang pelaway, kunzo dog porze, Yog sum gurwe leg mon to drew. Dog sog duje gon du jab tin shok. And Lama Ursel Venerable One, to whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindfully with loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. Geshe Cherub, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. There we go. Gone like a dream yet again. I don't know where my life is going. It's disappearing very fast. Okay, everybody, lots of love. So nice to see you all. And I'll see you, some of you, all of you, tomorrow. I look forward to that. And thank you for hosting, Michael. And sweet dreams, everybody. Except for Jay, who's up already, going through her day.
I'd like to be dreaming.
But sweet dreams for your tonight.
Thank you, darling.
Hours time. Okay, my pleasure.
Thank you, Venerable.
All right, good night, everybody.
Blessings.
Very
Night,
much.
everybody.
Everybody,
Thank you.
bye.
Thank you.